you taking all my time? Left, right, can you take it all night? Take it
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who the host is. Today is Wednesday, August the 25th of 2021, day 237th of the year, and only 128 days left to go. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse that is known as Safety FM. And we're hanging out with our friends, our colleagues, and our buddies at that other place that we do stuff at.
Radio.
Yep, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big. Don't worry, if you're on the Radio Big side of the house, you'll get used to my voice, because after this, we go into the Ching Allen in the Morning show. So, Rated R Safety is where we start. Rated R Safety Show is the way that it goes, and then we move from there. So thank you for coming back if you've been hanging out with us in regards of what we have going on. So let me kind of tell you the layout of the land if you're not familiar with how our show goes. We talk about the things that are going on inside of the world of the news, and then we come back and have the professional broadcasters. They talk about what's happening. I come back in and I give some conversation pieces on my point of view on what's going on inside of the world of the news. And then you interact inside of the box if you're inside of the social media platform. If you're inside of the radio station of the side of the house, you can actually text in at 866-930-SFM1. That's 866-930-SFM1. And then we can be like, what's up, Safety FM? Or, yeah, you just said that in the box. So, that kind of stuff going on there. And, from time to time, we try to populate what's going on inside of the box onto the screen if you are watching the streamer platform. But don't worry, just in case, just kind of giving those things out there just for people to know. So anyways, just want to kind of touch some bases real quick in regards of everything that's going on. So we're going to start talking about what is trending inside of the world. Before I get into my world of nonsense, we should probably have the pros come in and talk about those particular things. That way we can actually go through the whole gamut of stuff. I said gamut, not damn it, of stuff, and then kind of take it in from that particular standpoint. Anyways, let's talk about what's going on inside of the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. So going into the fiction category, at number 5, we meet the people we meet on vacation. At number 4, The Last Thing That He Told Me. At number 3 in the fiction category, It Ends With Us. At number 2, The Vortex. Welcome to the Vortex. That's for sure. And then at number 1, Billy Summers. It's a Stephen King book, so I think I could reference that for sure as we are talking. Anyways, in the nonfiction book category, at number 5, Giannis. At number 4, I Alone Can Fix It. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score. At number 2, The Long Slide by Tucker Carlson. The Long Slide. What kind of slide is that? And the number 1 book, according to the nonfiction category, is American Marxism. That's the number 1 in the nonfiction. By the way, don't worry if you're watching on the streamer. I am not drinking a Modelo first thing in the morning. That is definitely not what I'm doing. So don't worry about that. We're all good here. We're all good. I'm still a sane individual for some point. Is what they tell me around here. So, do we go into a feature story? Is that where we start? Hopefully there's no cutoff today. I mean, let's not lie. We know it happened yesterday. So let's get you to our friends at the feature of the story of the news, because I think that that's going to be important, and we're going to get that moving and grooving right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. The UK is in a race against time to airlift thousands more Afghans out of Kabul after Prime Minister Boris Johnson failed to convince Joe Biden to extend the deadline for withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. The US military will leave the country by August 31st, meaning most evacuations are set to stop by the weekend. From London, Benji Hire reports.
We will use every hour that we've got left. That's the commitment from Britain's Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab as the clock ticks on the time remaining for the UK to conduct evacuations out of Afghanistan. The UK's airlifted almost 9,000 people from Kabul in the past 10 days, but just a handful of days remain before NATO forces withdraw, with fears that thousands of Afghans who wish to flee may be left behind. The Taliban says Afghans should not go to the airport or try to depart the country. The British government says priority now turns to ensuring a safe passage beyond the 31st for Afghans who still want to leave, and a roadmap for how the West will engage with the Taliban.
51 evacuees from Afghanistan have arrived in Uganda aboard a chartered flight. Uganda's Foreign Affairs Ministry says the evacuees included men, women and children and have been checked into a hotel near Uganda's Entebbe International Airport. Airbnb has pledged to provide free housing for 20,000 Afghan refugees. CEO Brian Chesky says the program will begin immediately. Our correspondent Rachel Silverman reports.
Calling the displacement and resettlement of Afghan refugees one of the biggest humanitarian crises of our time, the Airbnb CEO says the company feels a responsibility to step up. The refugees will be housed in properties listed on Airbnb's platform. CEO Brian Chesky did not specify exactly how much the company plans to spend on the commitment or how long the refugees will be housed for.
And the World Health Organization's chief scientist says India may be entering the endemic stage of COVID-19, but officials in New Delhi are still concerned, as Ishan Garg reports.
India has been reporting close to 40,000 new infections a day for almost 2 months now. WHO's Soumya Swaminathan says this could mean that a low to moderate level of infection spread may continue for some time. But given India's massive population, she says some temporary spikes are also possible. Officials at home are hoping to ramp up vaccinations to avoid those spikes. Without it, they say India could see an unprecedented 600,000 new infections a day in the near future. But if transmission remains low, India could also resume exporting COVID-19 vaccines. Experts say the resumption could greatly help other low and middle income countries, especially the ones dependent on the COVAX vaccine sharing facility. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, remembering Charlie Watts, the irrepressible drummer with the Rolling Stones, whose death was announced yesterday at the age of 80. He had hoped to tour with Mick and the rest of the boys later this year, but earlier this month pulled out due to ill health. He was born in London. His mother was a housewife. His father served in the Royal Air Force. He was a Cockney, comfortable in his own skin, a prodigious talent who had little time for many of the music industry's excesses. Alex Flood is the resident Rolling Stones expert at NME, the New Musical Express.
The fabric of rock music has really lost one of its greats. I mean, Keith Richards, obviously founding member of the Stones alongside Charlie Watts in 1962, he always said that Charlie Watts was the best. He dealt with him and Mick Jagger's famed hell raising, so he had some patience, which is obviously very much needed in the Stones back in the 60s and 70s. You can hear kind of the rapid fire snare drums on Satisfaction, the kind of the opening to It's Only Rock and Roll wouldn't be the same without his drumming. Honky Tonk Women, he's a true great, and he'll be very much missed.
Keith Richards said in his autobiography that Charlie Watts has always been the bed that I lie on musically. He controls the beat of a generation, and now multiple generations mourn his passing. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, the UK's racing to airlift thousands more Afghans out of Kabul, with the US intent on withdrawing troops by August 31st. 51 evacuees from Afghanistan have arrived in Uganda aboard a chartered flight. Airbnb Italy has pledged to provide free housing for 20,000 Afghan refugees worldwide, and the WHO's chief scientist says India may be entering the endemic stage of COVID-19. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, come in real close. I got something to share with you. Not everybody has a beautiful head. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can pull off the shaved head look. Hey, I'm not digging on people. I'm just bringing it up. Some people out there are losing their hair. Now, I want to tell you about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men will experience some form of hair loss by the time that they are 35. More than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss. Keeps offers them both. Keeps offers a simple, stress-free way to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor consultation and medication delivered straight to your door every 3 months. You don't even have to leave your home. Think about that. There's other things that you have to leave your home to be able to pick up, not with Keeps. They have low-cost treatments that start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. It's discreet packaging and proven results. Now think about this for a moment. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 5 months to see results. So act fast. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month for free. KEEPS.com/safety. Now just remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head like mine. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
A lot of stuff going on inside of this morning, blah, 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 blah. So I was noticing over the last little bit, a lot of copying going on out there. So thank you. Thank you for taking a listen to me being your source material. I wanted to bring that out there. So thanks for taking a listen to some of the people that were out there that are mimicking exactly what we're doing here at the radio station. Let me know, because I think that when you send me the check that you owe me, that might be a little bit easier for us to talk about, and then I can tell you how many feelings I have inside of my teeth, and then we can talk about how you can go through and get some freckles that you probably need to be able to continue to mimic me as much as you do. I appreciate you taking a look at me, you being your source material for everything that you need going forward. You know who you are. I'll say hi. How you doing? How you doing? Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world and all that kind of fun stuff. Should we hit the federal list? Let's hit the federal list.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, the federal data shows that 33.9% of adolescents aged 12 to 15 are fully vaccinated against COVID-19, while 46.9% have received at least one dose. At least one dose. Oh, look, I have you pondering. That's pretty good. I like that. According to a poll from the Associated Press, 6 in 10 Americans say that students and teachers should be required to wear a mask in school. And taking it one step at a time, about 3 in 10 Republicans say that they're in favor for masks in school, compared to 8 to 10 Democrats. So, worth asking, of course, is the following. Shouldn't only students and their parents and teachers be asking their opinions? I don't know. That's going to be something to ponder. Children have been grouped together in daycares throughout most of the pandemic, many without masks. So is there a reason to worry for them? And that's going to be an interesting question. I mean, it's all kind of things to think about. And then many students returned to in-person learning last spring when the vaccination rates are significantly lower and teens were unable to get the jab with no issues. So again, why worry now? When those questions come up, we have to talk about the changes of the variant that's out there. I mean, I think it's a rational question. And then finally, multiple studies and organizations that argue mask work all note that if worn correctly. So what child actually wears their mask correctly would be the question, and then some other things. So I hear my dad talking WTF. Yeah, I probably sound like a father because I am one. So thanks for asking. Something to scare some people off with right away. Anyways, nearly 5,000 coronavirus cases have been linked to a 5-day festival that took place in coastal English town earlier this month, with more than 50,000 people that were attended at the festival between August the 11th through the 15th. Attendees had show proof that they had a negative COVID test or proof of vaccination to be able to get in. Masks were not required, but were recommended. No word on symptoms of those who tested positive. Hospitals or deaths or hospitalizations. Man, I can't even speak again today. I think I might be doing too much liquid. So, let's continue talking. Hello, how have you been? I've been fantastic. How are things with you? Hopefully everything's good and fine. That's for sure. We're asking if everyone there was vaccinated and tested negative for the virus. How did the spread happen to so many? Because we're talking about 10%. And of course, that seems to be the ongoing conversation that takes place. So let's continue talking. The baby seen in the now viral video being passed to the U.S. troops over the fence at Kabul International Airport has been reunited with its family. The parents handed over the infants to the troops to receive medical attention. They are all now together, safe in the airport in Norway. Marine Corps spokesperson Jim Stegner told Forbes. The video has amassed nearly 3 million views since it was shared last Thursday. Now, I'm telling you, if you pull up the video, you'll easily find it because it's been a little bit of everywhere. It's been hitting the news, hitting the sequences, so don't worry about that. It's everywhere to be found. So if you go looking, you can find it right away. Anyways, inmates of Rikers Island are taking over amid a staffing shortage. On Sunday morning, 3 convicts from the Folk Nation gang jumped a member of the Bloods and slashed his face with an unmanned housing area, according to internal records obtained by the Post. The day before, a group of inmates ran wild through the corridors and destroyed a bunch of equipment before officers were able to get them back into control. The chaos continued this week with inmates answering the phones and taking over housing areas, according to Patrick Verdicio, president of the Correction Campus Association. Last week, correction officers and captains protested outside the jail, calling out that they feel that they are at worst working conditions in a jail for its notorious history. So there you go. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a hard gig. I mean, let's not lie here. That is not a gig that most people could do. I feel so empty. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question here because I see this popping in the box. I feel so empty. Does this mean that you feel empty from a standpoint like you're hungry? Or are we talking about that you feel empty because you have something going on? No, seriously, it's a serious question. Now, you can't respond. And if I do go into something else, I'll jump over and take a look. So if anybody notices that this person responds and I don't see it, please point it out to me because I would appreciate it. But if you are feeling empty, hopefully it's a food-related thing. If it's feeling empty based on something else, we can talk about it. That's for sure. So I won't go too far without paying attention to what's going on in the screen. Anyways, it is 22 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out this morning. The person convicted in the 2017 bombing of the Minnesota mosque wants to be legally recognized as a transgender woman and is asking for a judge for minimum sentence on the grounds of gender dysmorphia. And online anti-Muslim content fueled the inner conflict to lead to the attack. A federal grand jury found 50-year-old Michael Gotti guilty for his role in bombing the Dar al-Azliq Center in Bloomington, Minnesota back in August of 2017. Hari says that who now identifies as Emily Claire Hari, has asked the judge for no more than 30 years in prison, the mandatory amount for Hari's conviction instead of life sentence sought by the prosecutors. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure. So what do you think about this one? This one's definitely interesting. I don't think I have actually heard of anything like this at the moment, but that doesn't mean much because I don't hear a lot of things because I stay isolated in this chamber, as you can see, the chamber of what we have going on. And, I've learned many years ago that if I talk into the microphone, it sounds a lot better than if I talk away. That's for sure. So some things. So what do you think about it? I mean, that's always the fun part. Because I don't know. I mean, do you think that they should get life, or do you look at it and you go, maybe life is not what they deserve. Maybe they deserve 30. I don't know.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Okay, the giant inflatable duck named Joy that was hanging out in the harbor of Maine was removed over the weekend. While residents believed that it was likely taken out ahead of the tropical storm Henry, they were still upset to see the bird go. The duck's arrival at the harbor 2 weeks ago and remains a mystery, but Belfast Harbor Master Kathleen Gibbons said that they received an anonymous letter from someone claiming to be responsible. The letter said, "Joy simply is foul play. In this day and age, such bitter divisiveness in our country, we wanted to put forth a reminder of the commonalities instead of our differences. Nothing embodies childhood more like a warm bath with a rubber ducky. The joy of not having care in the world and others and having to remember to wash behind their ears." It also stated the duck would be landing elsewhere soon. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with Joy the duck as we are talking this lovely morning about the things that are going on inside of the world here. Anyways, a Belgian zoo has banned a local woman from visiting a chimpanzee exhibit due to her affair with one of the primates. What? A.D. Timerson visited the primate named Cheetah once a week and claims that to have developed a close bond with the animal. I love that animal and he loves me. I I haven't got anything else. Why do they want to take him away? We've been having an affair. I'll just say, Jefferson's told Newsweek. You would actually say this to Newsweek. According to the zoo, the so-called affair involved Cheetah and Timberson waving and blowing kisses to each other from the opposite sides of the glass that surround the ape's enclosure. The concern is that while Cheetah is interacting with humans, he is being ignored by the other chimps and has become an outcast. Zoo's officials told Newsweek that they had to make a decision that Cheetah can be a chimpanzee as much as possible. What is going on with these people? I mean, seriously, how are you having an affair with a chimpanzee? I mean, I know that some people are taking it to the extreme, but geez, man, I don't know if that's the extreme that I would definitely want to go to. I mean, think about that for a hot minute. So yeah, I'm in a relationship with a chimpanzee, and that sounds pretty normal.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, I don't even know where to go after that. Maybe it's time for us to have Johnny Smalls come in, talk about what's going on inside of the Market Beat, and we'll do that.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, August 25th, 2021. Equity markets extended their gains Tuesday and set another new all-time high. The caveat is the market action was greatly subdued compared to the prior two sessions. The S&P 500 advanced with about 0.25% at the high of the day as momentum wanes. If the market can't get its legs under it and extend the rally, the stage is set for another correction, and this time it could be a full-blown 20% correction. Market action will likely be muted until Friday, when the Bureau of Economic Analysis releases their monthly income and spending data, including the PCE price index. Another focus for the market this week is the Fed's Jackson Hole Conference. The Fed is not expected to alter its policy at the conference, but commentary from the members could sway sentiment in the market. Regardless, the Fed has become more hawkish in recent weeks and appears set to begin tapering this fall. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. So there you go. So there you go. The stock saw modest gains on Tuesday as the Dow added about 30 points. The Nasdaq jumped about 77 points, and the S&P gained about 6 points. The Nasdaq Composite closed at 15,019 points, a new record. Rising technology stocks were key contributors as Microsoft, Nvidia, and Alphabet climbed. Best Buy surged over 8 points after posting a surprising quarter earnings during Tuesday's session. So there you go. I had not been to a Best Buy store in God knows how long. And as of recent, I actually went and hung out in one. Not hung out, but was taking a look at some electronic items. Best Buy, the Amazon, essentially the Amazon showroom floor. When you're going to get something on Amazon, but you're not sure how it looks and you want to see what it looks like in person, you go to Best Buy. That place. It was interesting just to see. I remember I went into the television department, not the electronic department, because that's essentially the whole store. And to see as many open boxes in the area of the one that I was actually in, they had 21 open boxes TV, 21 open box TVs. I was like, was this like a return issue or what the hell is going on? Vinda Polosino. I love America. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm glad that you love America and you want everybody to know your sentiment behind it. It's very important to know. It really is. Anyways, let's continue talking. Pandemic-related weight gain is becoming an issue for children. A new study found that the Pediatric Obesity Journal reports that unhealthy dietary habits and lifestyle have been adversely impacted to children throughout the pandemic. Researchers found that 1 in 3 children, 33.8%, in the U.S. have surpassed the expected weight gain during the pandemic. Worth noting as add to the list of the negative effects of unscientific decision of things that are going on inside of the world. And this isolation is causing for people to wanting to eat more. So there you go. I think that there is some reality to it. I mean, let's be realistic. If you've been locked up and you haven't been doing much of anything, what are you thinking? I mean, I don't know. I mean, do you go into it, or do you go into the shake diet? Do you stick it to that particular fashion? Because that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, 400 calories on one of those, but then people want to chew real food, so I never know. Rajik Ladog what time are you going to stream till? I'm looking to watch all night. Well, I don't know where you're located, but if it's still nighttime where you're at, I mean, that would tell me that you're probably West Coast-ish. So it means it's kind of late where you're hanging. We do the thing here for an hour, and then we go into the radio station. So you can come over to the radio station. That's at radiobig.fm. You're more than welcome to come and hang out in that kind of fun stuff. Okay, so in order to play volleyball at a public high school in Eatonville, Washington, a 13-year-old girl was forced to wear an ankle monitor simply because she was unvaccinated. Really? When the teen alerted her mother about the incident, her mother was told that the school officials and the coach that they had implemented a new program that involves putting ankle monitors on unvaccinated teens for contract tracing. According to the company behind the device, Trace Tag was created for the purpose of maintaining social distancing guidelines and to provide real-time insights into whether these guidelines are being observed. So criminals are being set free because of COVID, and it is a free for all border. What the fuck is this? I mean, like, okay, dude, I appreciate you helping with writing some of this shit, but I don't need your fucking personal bullshit in the middle of this thing. Like, what the hell does this mean? I mean, keep your personal commentary to your own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if not, at least tell me you want to be on the show with me, because what the fuck is that? Sorry about that, but I just don't get it. I don't need your personal analogy about life in the middle of me trying to tell you the news story. So anyways, let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of the world. Maybe it's time for us to talk about what is going on inside of the main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about this, because apparently this is going to be an ongoing conversation all the time about some of the stuff that happens inside of the world here. So, oh, look, see ya, because I dropped the F-bomb. I got you. I get it. Some people are easily offended. So there you go. But here's the thing. So let's talk about this. We keep on talking about some of these things that are going on around there where we're seeing that people are brainwashed, and we're seeing that other people are indoctrinated, and we're seeing that all these other things. And I was interestingly, I was hanging out yesterday, and there was a conversation going on about those two things, about indoctrination and talking about being brainwashed. And it was funny because this person was talking, and they were talking to a person that had been involved with a sex cult. Yeah, you did hear me correctly there. A sex cult. And they started talking about brainwashing. And of course, if you're not familiar, brainwashing is the concept that a human mind can be altered or controlled by certain psychological techniques. That's what it means. And the person starts talking that he knew someone who was brainwashed by the sex cult. And a person who was involved in the sex cult paused them and said, no, they're not brainwashed. They said they were indoctrinated. And I was like, hold on, this is going to go somewhere. And during the conversation, they said, we are all indoctrinated or brainwashed, is how they said it. So they said, indoctrinate. Teach a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. And I sat there and I thought about that for a moment. And I said, wow, it's kind of mesmerizing taking both of those words and you look over them. And you go into this whole thing and you go, okay, so we're talking here about being brainwashed. We're talking here about indoctrination, and it's amazing on the similarities because, listen, regardless of where you stand, and let's take whatever factor of what you want to talk about, but let's use the whole method here because we mostly talk about safety. That when it comes to this world, we talk about some of the things here, and think about this. Think about how people stand on the behavior-based safety side of the house. There is no way, shape, or form that you're going to convince me that behavior-based safety is not the best thing on the planet. You can say that about people that believe in lean. You can talk to people that believe in the hop concept. So, I mean, it all depends on what you're looking at. But think about this, because to a level or to an extent, People can claim that they're indoctrinated, or people can claim that they have been brainwashed with a methodology. And I know it can become a very weird conversation relatively quick, but when you start thinking about it, what do you think that this actually is? Do you think that it is a version of brainwashing, or do you think it's a version of indoctrination? I mean, because let's think about this for a moment. And this is where it's going to get kind of ooey gooey and all that kind of fun stuff. But think about this. Your family, as they brought you up, your parents, or whoever actually brought you up as a child, indoctrinated you in a certain method of beliefs or on how things should be done. It is a version of an indoctrination. Now, if you speak to certain groups, as they look at things, they might turn around and tell you that that indoctrination is also known as a version of brainwashing. But then do you sit back and argue the point that they're incorrect? Do you sit back and do you argue the point that they're absolutely wrong on what they're saying? I mean, it's kind of an interesting standpoint. You have to take a look at it and go, where is there really a difference between the two? And when we are growing up, and I know this is where it's going to get all weird, is it a version of brainwashing? When we are believing in something or standing by something, is it brainwashing? Now, think about this real quick. And this is where we can have another portion of the conversation. Think about a book that you might be reading now. Think about a book that you like. And do you realize that most books on how they're written is repetitive concepts? They tell you a concept and they repeat it. They tell you a concept, and I'm not talking about like the fiction books. I'm talking about nonfiction books that are storytelling, talking about methodologies of stuff. It's how they do something and then they repeat it. Method, repeat, method, repeat, method, repeat, method, repeat. So is it a version of indoctrination or is it a version of brainwashing? Think about it for a moment. Because there's services that are out there, such as Blinkist, not a sponsor of the show. And what they do is they give you the biggest concepts of a book, where you can listen to a book or read a whole book and their concept in like 15 minutes. So you get the general concept. But what a lot of people said about the service, and nothing wrong with the service, is that they didn't feel like there was enough repetitiveness as some of the books come about. Because people compared their actual books that they read to what Blinkist had said. So does it become indoctrination or does it become brainwashing? It's kind of a weird one. I mean, it's a very weird one to talk about. That's the whole thing that we have to take a look at. So, I mean, I get it where it can become very confusing depending on how you look at it. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, Let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes you're out and about and sometimes you have to access a report, maybe your bank account, maybe something that's important to you, but you don't want other people to be able to access it? I know you're probably sitting there for a moment going, well, why don't you just go into incognito mode and use that instead? Well, let me tell you something real quick. Incognito mode does not hide your activity. It doesn't matter what mode you use or how many times you clear your browser's history. Your internet service provider can still see every single website you visited. And that's why even when I'm at home, I never go online without using ExpressVPN. It doesn't matter who your internet provider is. It can be Verizon, Comcast, or even AT&T. The ISP in the U.S. can legally sell your information to ad companies. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your ISP can't see the sites that you visit. ExpressVPN also keeps all of your information secure by encrypting 100% of your data with the most powerful encryption available. Most of the times, I don't even realize I have ExpressVPN on. It runs seamlessly in the background and is so easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you're protected. ExpressVPN is available on all of your devices, phones, computers, even your smart TV. So there's no excuse for you not to be using it. Protect your online activity today with the VPN rated #1 by CNET and Wired. Visit my exclusive link at expressvpn.com/safety and you can get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/safety. expressvpn.com/safety to learn more. Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Take it all, I feel it coming down too strong. Cause I want ya, and it's hard to resist cause I need ya. And it's hard, baby, yeah, cause I believe ya. Hold me tight, holding on tonight. Hold the cover, get to you clean and proper. Yeah, I'm moving a weekend lover. You gonna me on your mind forever. Ever, thanks, baby, turn it down, make it sweet and ready. Go slow, keep it nice and steady. Know that you've been keeping patience. Too bad I've been sticking out your mind.
Okay, there you go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. I have to tell you, I get lost in music so quick. So that's Con Man with Tyra Chaney. This one's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
She made a call, wait, turn me
Okay, let's get you moving and grooving as we are talking on this lovely Wednesday. Yeah, you know, hump day for those out there. So let's talk about it. Hold on. What's wrong with Tyra Cheney? She ain't no hoe. I mean, that's terrible for you to write in the box. And I have to tell you, why do people try to copy your emoji? They freaking suck. I don't know. They can be them, I'll be me, and they can, you know, whatever, however you want to word it. We can just go from there. Anyways, let's continue talking. Before I get too far away, I want to make sure that I talk about this, because I want to tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. The person earlier had referenced that they felt empty inside, and I want to make sure that if that's the case, and we were not talking about a food-related thing, that we do cover this because it always is important. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. For more information, you can go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So just in case, want to make sure that we talk about that, because that is always important.
Duh.
Just in case there. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things going on inside of this glorious world of ours, because they are always important to do so. If not, you know, we're kind of wasting our time and not talking about stuff. Anyways, Charlie hit me. The sad news of the death of Rolling Stones drummer Charlie Watts at 80 on Tuesday brought to mind this antidote. First re-encountered by Keith Richards' autobiography, Life. In the mid-'80s, an intoxicated Mick Jagger phoned Watts' hotel room in the middle of the night asking, "Where's my drummer?" Watts reportedly got up, shaved, dressed up in a suit, and put on a tie and freshly shined shoes, and descended the stairs and punched Jagger in the face, saying, "Don't ever call me your drummer again. You're my fucking singer." Okay, hey. I guess that's one way to put it.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's go into some happier news, I think. Animal Tales. Petting and cuddling with a dog can significantly enhance your well-being, according to a research found by the University of British Columbia. Study authors assigned students volunteers to one of three groups. One group could interact with therapy dogs, but with no touching. Another could interact and touch their therapy dog, and a third group met with the dog handler and no pup at all. Students assigned with the interact but don't touch group showed some improvement across various measurements as well-being, including happiness, integration into the campus community, stress, loneliness, and self-perception, and of a self-perception of flourishing. But the group that actually was permitted to touch the dogs, the therapy dogs, experienced the most benefits. And it was only the group that displayed big improvements across the well-being factors. While the several studies have found that the canine-assisted interventions improve participants' well-being, there has been little research into the interaction provided with the greatest benefit. So they did soar lower in the eat dinner without having to share category, though. I mean, so I guess that's one way to look at it. Anyway, city life is making animals fatter, according to new research, as urbanization causes many animals to lose their natural habitats and end up running through the local neighborhoods. A study found that although scientists have long believed that this process ends up making animals smaller, it actually is leading to a larger and more hefty critters roaring through the trash. A team of Florida Museum of Natural History examined the body length and weight of more than 140,000 animals for over 100 North American species, which pop up in cities, includes wolves, bobcats, deers, bats, and rodents, and found that they're getting bigger, fatter, in their rural relatives, thanks to the fact that there is a food in the area, at least until they start seeing the garbage cans and anyone else, who is doing keto. I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it for sure.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, not my asphalt. Polish construction firm Budimex Refiner Lottos have created a floral scented asphalt. Why? According to the company, it's not to improve the condition of people living in large cities without ready access to nature. It's not the sensory enjoyment of commuters who spend hours fighting traffic every day to work. It's to improve working conditions for road builders. A new bitumen contains a mixture of natural and synthetic essential oils, most of them being neutralized with typical smells of asphalt, while remaining ones adds the pleasuring scent. A foreman was quoted by the company as saying that at times he can detect the scent of flowers, which makes his working more pleasant. Because, when I'm out in the hot weather putting roads together, I want to smell the scent of flowers. So would a raise, but apparently the company isn't working on that. So a raise is not going to help you. I guess the scent of flowers is. He also did mention that if his coworker Aleski will pull up his pants, that would also be a more pleasant working environment. But nobody wanted to put that, talking about that out there. So there you go. So there you go. We'll continue talking a little bit more about some other things going on real quick inside of the world. Okay, at the time of this reporting, the Powerball site is still not up from the Monday night's drawing. The next drawing is tonight, editors. So let's see. The editor told me this. The drawing was the first Monday night drawing, so maybe they're still working on some kinks. I mean, I don't know. But as the writing of this which was earlier this morning, it was still down. It was still down. So there you go. So I don't know if anybody won. I don't know if anybody lost. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's just going on inside of there. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. If we take a look at the year, let's see. 1989, Voyager 2 swings by Neptune, which at the time was the second to the last planet in the solar system before Pluto's status was reduced. It sent back some 8,000 images of the planet and its moons. Voyager 2 had a nuclear power source, allowing it to continue its operation. It still measures deep space magnetic field and other data. Zooming away from the sun is almost 291 million miles a year and more than 33,000 miles an hour. It is expected to remain functional until 2025. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff that something that you might have not known. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays for today. Blake Lively turns 34 today. Yeah, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife. Rachel Bilson turns 40. Kel Mitchell turns 43. Claudia Schiffer. Oh, yes, Claudia Schiffer turns 51. Rachel Ray turns 53. Tom Hollander turns 54. Michael Cohen, 55. Billy Ray Cyrus, 60. Tim Burton, 63. Elvis Costello turns 62 today. 67 today. And Gene Simmons turns 72. Yeah, 72. So there you go. Lot of stuff always going on inside of this little thing. Anyways, we'll be hanging out at radiobig.fm here in the next few minutes or so. If you want to come over at the top of the hour, all you have to do is type in radiobig.fm and come and hang out on Jay Allen in the mornings, as we will be doing our show over there, doing the things that we do all the time. Anyway, so if you're looking for some days to celebrate for today, let's kind of give you some reason to do that. National Park Service Founder Day, National Whiskey Sour Day, so there's one that you can possibly participate in. National Kiss and Makeup Day. Does that mean kiss and then put on makeup? I mean, I'm just asking. Or kiss and make up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes some people's kissing, they might need to put on makeup afterwards. Who knows? A National Secondhand Wardrobe Day is another one. And then, I don't know, the last but not least is National Banana Split Day. So if you do the Kiss and Make Up Day and the National Banana Split Day, you might be having one hell of a day if you really think about it for just one brief moment.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, 54 minutes past, and you know how that goes around here. Let's talk about some whack facts, because it is Wednesday. Tablecloths were originally meant to be used as towels, which dinner guests would wipe their hands and faces after eating. The opposite of cross-eyed is walled-eyed. The average can of cat food has a nutritional equivalent of 5 mice. To lose 1 pound of fat, you need to walk 35 miles briskly. 35 miles briskly. Doctors in 1700s prescribed ladybugs taken internally to cure measles. Boy, have things changed. The names of Popeye's 4 nephews are Peepeye, Popeye, and Poopeye. Wow, I didn't know that. And I don't think that I needed to know that. So there's something else to know about. Okay, a survey suggests that 1 in 6 people don't know their next door neighbor's name. Yeah, yes, but true. They do know. They do know how to hack my Wi-Fi, though. That's going to be the thing to think about. A vengeance unopened Super Mario Brothers video game sold for $2 million. The seller plans on taping the dollar bills together to form the shape of a girlfriend. Gene Simmons is 72 today. These days, he's still rock and roll all night, except his nights start at 3 p.m. and ends about 7:30, just in case. It's also Blake Lively's birthday, which we've already discussed. She is A, 32, B, 34, or C, on my phone screen when my wife is in the shower. I'm just saying. And then fact of the day, Betty White is older than Mickey Mouse. Then again, Mickey Mouse's real age is a bit sketchy. So just some things to think about.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's get Johnny Smalls in here with the Motivation Minute real quick.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Arla. C.S. Lewis said, "When the whole world is running towards a cliff, he who is running in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind." I can relate to this. I've marched to the beat of my own drum for most of my life. There are a few random times that other people, for some reason, liked the beat of the drum and followed along. But even when they don't, I still like to do my own thing. If you choose to go the opposite way of the crowd, that's cool. Just don't be surprised if some people think you're crazy. You'll get used to it, eventually. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Let's go through it real quick. Here's a random joke for today. My relationship with my siblings is strange. I'd give them my kidney, but there's no way they're borrowing my charger. If you need a phone starter for today, you can try this one. What is something that you have in your purse or car that you think no one else does? If you need something for the water cooler, try this one. In a survey where women were asked what item they wish their partner didn't own, this came in at number 1. What is it? Golf clubs. So there you go. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on safetyfm.com and radiobig.fm. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We couldn't do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Yeah, that is definitely the listener. If I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. To be without some of the things you want is indispensably part of happiness. Think about that for a moment. We might talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Anyways, if you want to come and hang out, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm. I know who you are. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.